Okay, hello everyone. Come on in and join me. Hello, getting things set up here, getting ready, making sure that we're working. So I hope that you've had a lovely day. There we go. We are live. Awesome. Oh, hello, hello. Come on in. Come join me. It's more fun when there's lots of us here. We are on day 3. Hello, Kelly. I love you. I can always count on you. I'm so happy that you bring your energy to these things. It makes such a difference. Ah, thank you for joining me. We're on day 3. These 3 days went so fast, you guys. We're on day 3 of the free masterclass of Awakened, and tonight is going to be the best one of all because it's going to be really inspiring and get you going. That's my intention, is to really get you pumped up tonight and to get you into that, heart open, heart awakened, you know, filling up on your desires and get you manifesting with power tonight. So I am so happy to be here. It is a beautiful Tuesday evening, but not as nice as the last 2 nights. So I didn't come on my deck today. It's a little bit breezy out there. Didn't want things blowing away. But say hello when you come in so I know you're here. Um, it is just so much more fun when you know who you're talking to on these lives. It can be a little bit unnerving, you guys, when you come onto a live and it's like you feel like you're talking to yourself, right? It's taken me a long time to get used to these lives and get more comfortable with them. And I am definitely more comfortable. I'm more comfortable with um, doing lives, with talking about manifesting and being the artist of your own life. So, for those of you that don't know me, that might be seeing this later, my name is Janice Gallant, and I am the founder of Soulfully Aligned Women, which is my private Facebook group and my Instagram handle. And I am an artist and I am a teacher, a classroom teacher, part time. And then the other part time is working with women and having programs that help you remember the wisdom and power within you and stepping into becoming the artist of your life, really consciously and deliberately creating in your life. And it is so much fun, but it is a lot of work too when we do this. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? And the last night we talked about how, what are the things that keep us from actually consciously manifesting and creating in our life? And some of the things are that it takes time, it takes commitment and courage, and there's all these fears that come up, and we worry about failing, and we worry about succeeding, and we worry about what people think. And then we have all these like hidden things that are conditioning our minds that we may not even be aware of. And so the work is uncovering that. The work is being, hi, Lynn. The work is being um, fully present in the morning. And and it's a walk. It's a path that you walk and you commit to becoming the fullest expression of yourself, becoming the best version of you, and always working on yourself. So I'm not going to say that, consciously creating and manifesting in your life is easy. It can be. There are times when it is, and then there's times when it's like, oh my gosh, this is hard work because we're um, releasing a lot of debris. We're clearing a lot of debris out of our energy field and out of our bodies and out of our lives. And that takes courage, right? So tonight, I want to talk to you about, what are the things that take us to that next level in manifesting? And one of the things is an awakened heart. So as we awaken and we become awakened into the present moment of our life, the one thing that we really need to connect to is our heart and awakening our heart, because there are a lot of us that are very protected. We protect our heart because we've been through a lot. I had a beautiful, an absolutely beautiful session with a beautiful soul lady. Oh, she's so gorgeous this morning. And we were talking about how when when she began her journey many years ago, she didn't even know what was meant when someone said, well, feel into yourself. How are you feeling? Because she was so protected. And she reminded me, when she shared that with me, she reminded me that I was the same way. That so many years ago, when they said, feel into your body, feel into your heart, feel into your feelings, I didn't know what they meant. I'd be like, I feel kind of tired today, right? And maybe that's where you're at too right now. And what I want to share is that the more we start to, pay attention to that, and I think the older we get to, we become more and more aware of all of the feelings going through our body. And the thing that we want, the place we want to get to is that place of in the moment. When a feeling comes up, we feel it right away. We're aware of it right away. So that that feeling within our body that's coming from an emotion doesn't take us down a rabbit hole or doesn't throw us off our game, and doesn't take over. We notice it, we become aware of it, and go, that's interesting. And we work with it. Like if it's something that, if it's an anger, if somebody triggers you, it's an anger, it's like, hmm, I wonder why this person is triggering me so much. Or, otherwise our emotions they take over they jump in the driver's seat, right? And it's like this, tantruming child driving the vehicle. And that's not a really good thing, right? So, so the goal is to become awakened in your heart, because your heart is where your desires are. We will start to feel feelings. We will start to become more aware of our desires as we awaken our heart. Now, if you want to work on that, I do that Monday through Thursdays. I do a free meditation in sorry, I lost my thought there, in Instagram, in my Soulfully Aligned Women. So at 7:17 a.m. Mountain Time, Monday to Thursday, I come in and we do a 10-minute meditation, and it does very much begin to open your heart, softening your heart. That is such an important space because it is your connection to your higher power. If you have a heart in a shell, then you are not going to have a connection to the power that you want to co-create with. That's where um, you cut yourself off. It's like cutting yourself off the lifeline, right? So awakening your heart, softening your heart is a really important part of creating in your life. The biggest reason is because that is, as I said, where your desires are. And it's your heart's desires that are the truth of what you want to create in your life. You may think, as I did at certain times in my life, that, well, if I just had this, I would feel better. If I just had more time, I would feel better. If I just had more money, I would feel better. If I just had you know, a warmer house or a better car that worked every day, right? Then I would be so much better. But the thing is it's the other way around. We tap into the feelings in our heart, and our heart is saying, yeah, I want the freedom of more time. That's what I want, right? Or I just want to feel safe and comfortable. That's what I want. I just want to feel like everything's going to be okay. And I remember the first few times when I started to really connect to my heart, it was like, I just want to know who I am without all this struggle. I want to figure out, who am I if I didn't have to worry so much about survival, and I could just be me and figure out, what do I love, what don't I love. Like, life just seemed to be pure survival right from, the get-go for me. So I didn't really know who I was until much later in my life. So connecting to your heart, awakening your heart, and tapping into that power, that's where you get a co-creative force flowing, right? And when you tap into your heart and you start to discover what it is that you truly desire in your life, then, and you set the intention that, yeah, this is what I'm going to do, then the universe steps in, and the power comes through every single time. Like, you open the gate and the floodgates, like, just it all comes in, right? The next thing with this is like, so an awakened heart is really important to bring the flow through. And then the next thing is really stepping up, being really courageous and saying, yeah, I'm going to go after this desire, because energy, what moves energy in our life is emotions, right? It's Manifesting is all about emotions and energetics. And so when our emotions are kicked up a few notches into a really strong desire or excitement, then we begin to really see things start to move and evolve and come through. Now, I just want to say something about fears, because fears are very strong too. But what I have found out is that despite your fears, you can still manifest. So even if you have a lot of fears that you're like, oh man, I got so much work to do. I'm never going to manifest. I'm going to run out of life before I manifest what I want, right? No, because I have been in extreme fear of survivals. Just the years of trying to manifest more into my life, and miracles have come through. Things have manifested for me. I manifested, and I've told this story a few times, so you may have heard it already, but I manifested $11,000 over a weekend because we needed it so badly. We had a bill that had to get paid, and there was nowhere for this money to come from. There was nowhere. It was like, there's no credit card, there's no rich uncle or parents to lean on, nothing, no credit. And I was really, really stressed and in a lot of fear around bill, because it was one of those really important big bills that you cannot ignore. Not that I ignore my bills, I don't, but it was important. And we were on a timeline, and I just felt a lot of like pit of the stomach fear around that. And the one weekend, I just decided, you know what, it would be so nice if somebody said, hey, I got this, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it for you. Right? And it was a Friday night, I came home, it was a long weekend, and I just decided that I was going to set it aside for the weekend, because, I was getting to the end of my rope of worrying about it. And I stayed in that feeling of like, what would it be like to have a rich uncle or someone that came along and said, it's okay, we got this. Okay, we'll take care of this. It's going to be cleared up for you. And I just stayed there. I was like, oh, that would feel like such a huge relief. That would feel like, the feeling of being on vacation the very first day when you just kind of relax and go, oh, this feels so good, right? And nothing needs to get done, and you get to just sink into that chair on the beach and relax and read a book or have a drink, and just let go. And so that's what I did through the weekend is I just let it go. And it wasn't Monday that I manifested the money, but a couple days later, I think it was probably about 7, 8 to 10 days later, we got a notice in the mail that we actually had um, an insurance fund, and it was a statement that came in, and I opened it up and I looked at it and I'm like, and it said something about like withdrawal amount available $11,000. And I looked at I showed it to my husband. I said, "Did you know we had this?" And he's like, "No, didn't even realize that we had access to that, you know." And it was just like, "Oh my gosh, this is what we need to take care of this bill, right? Like this is it." And it was exactly the amount that we needed. So I want to tell you that when you have fear and worries in your life, you can still manifest. You can still get yourself into that energy of bringing it through, into that frequency of bringing it through, and that is a beautiful thing. And that is kind of why in Manifest, that new program that I'm starting on Thursday, it's about coming back to that frequency, coming back to that frequency, even though other things get in our way, even though fears and doubts start to come up, we're going to get back into that frequency again and again and again. And so that, like, you have longer than a 3-day weekend. You have 6 weeks to manifest your dream, and it's going to be powerful. So when we get into that, the emotions and the energies, the feelings of our dream coming and get excited about it, that is what brings it through. Now, what you need to do is start to take steps towards that. So sometimes that's scary. Sometimes it's about starting a business, right? Sometimes it's about taking a new course, something that gets you excited about life. Maybe it's planning a new adventure. Maybe it's planning a trip. I know people that are like, I need to have a trip planned so I can like get excited about it and bring it through. It's your bucket list of okay, next stop on my bucket list is Greece. That's where I want to go, and you start to work towards that dream. And so it keeps you excited when you get up in the morning. Now there's mentors out there that have said that you need to be wherever you feel fear is where you want to move towards. And I was always like, yeah, I've had enough fear in my life. Thank you very much. I don't need any more. Um, but what they mean by that is that excited nervousness. So if you're like, yeah, okay, I really do want to start a business. Okay, I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to start taking these programs, or I'm going to go get a business license and get set up, get a business bank account. Those things that make you kind of flutter with nervousness and excitement, that's the energy that you want. So maybe it is, about, and for me, a couple times it's been about hiring that next level coach for me to take my business to the next level, because it's so easy to get into a passive energy, an energy of comfort, of like it's very placid, right? And life is good, and I don't have anything to complain about, but I kind of have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning, right? That doesn't stimulate the manifesting energy. So it's about, okay, well, what's the next adventure in your life? What's the next step? This is why I really love business because it's a continual growth thing. It's a continual expanding. It continually stretches me into new directions, into, coming and doing these lives. Well, that is a huge stretch for me in the beginning. And, creating the programs and then delivering the programs, it expands me, it stretches me, it makes me feel alive. Um, and we all have so many different desires. So tapping into your desires, um, you know, a lot of people think, well, we can't all have big mansions. We can't all be super rich. It's like, well, we don't all want that. We don't all want that. We all have different unique desires. And your desires in your heart were placed there by the universe so that you would follow them. They were like a beautiful star being placed in your heart the day you were born. You came with the desires that you have in your heart. And so when you're working on creating these desires, when you're allowing these desires to come into your life, you're working with the universe and you're working, you're that piece of the puzzle that the universe has planned for all of us. And so you are actively engaged and saying, yeah, okay, I'll do this. So the excitement for each day, that when you wake up in the morning and you go, oh my goodness, this is exciting. I get to do this today. That flutter in your heart, that brings a lot of power and movement into the energies. Okay, so let me just check my notes here, see where I'm at. I already. Oh, there's one thing too to keep in mind when you're manifesting, because there's never any guarantees in life. So just because you're like, well, my heart is calling me to start a business, doesn't mean that it's going to be a perfect, successful business. This is part of the risk taking. But when we follow those desires, when we go, okay, this is what I'm feeling is the right next move for me, we step into our growth. Guarantees, there's no guarantees in life. There never is. But what we do know, and what science knows, is that when we put our attention onto, like, it's all energy, it's all quantum physics. When we put our attention onto certain energies, certain outcomes happen, right? Like we can influence the outcome. So when you put your attention on, you know, focusing on success and growth and, things coming for you and evolving and manifesting, then we actually can influence the energy that way. That's what this is all about, this deliberate creating. So the question always begins with, yeah, there's no guarantees, but where are you putting your focus? Are you putting your focus on the possible failures, or are you putting your focus on to all the amazing things that could happen that you might not even be aware of, right? So when everything is like up in the air and still in the energetic form and it hasn't manifested yet, where you put your focus is super important. All right. And that means that we're walking with our fear, right? So yes, there's a fear of failure. I know it's there. I'm not hiding from it. I'm not ignoring it. I know it's there, but I choose to put my focus on my desired outcome. That's what I choose. And 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 that influences everything, right? Having faith in yourself, trusting in the universe, right? So the other thing that's super important, so we got our awakened heart, we got our desires from our heart, and we start to step towards them, is being in gratitude and desire. Okay, so this might sound, uh, like in the 60s, love is all there is, but truly, truly, that's what It's about gratitude and desire. When I'm creating in my desires, when I identify what is it in my heart that I truly desire, not just what I want. Yeah, I want safety and security, and I want a bank account that's full and fat and lovely, and I want, this or that, or I want the best career, and I want that job. But tapping into desire, desire is in the energy of more. Want is in the energy of just enough. Desire takes you into the overflow, the excess desire. It's like, oh, I love that dress. Oh my gosh, I'd love to have that dress and be able to walk around in that dress. Or even, you know, yeah, that like when I go and look at the houses, there was a house we went and looked at in town, and it's like, yeah, it's nice, it would work, but and we came out the front door, and across the street it was like, oh, but that's the house I would really love. Right? So when you feel that, like, oh no, that's what I want, right? Um, that's desire. And that frequency is such a higher frequency. We can tap into those desires, um, and yet still be in gratitude for what we have, then you're nailing it. Those frequencies are high and powerful. When I'm feeling gratitude, what is the energy? What is the frequency of gratitude? What does it feel like? Well, it feels abundant. It feels expanded. My heart feels like it's actually swelling up, right? You feel fuller. And that's because there's more energy coming in from the universe, because it comes in from the universe into your heart. That's where it gathers. And when I'm feeling this gratitude and desire, when I'm living in those two frequencies, then I can walk forward with my fears, right? Because I know I can handle all the feelings. I know that I can hold all the feelings. I can hold the fear and still be in gratitude and desire. And not be, you gotta be careful, because sometimes when you are in desire, you slip into scarcity and the feeling of you know what? Why did they get it and I don't? Right? We don't want to go into that scarcity. We want to stay in the gratitude of, you know what? That would be so lovely. And I can see myself living that way. I could see myself living a life that is full of joy and bliss, and and know that it's coming. Know that I'm creating it. Right? Um, so one of the things that we will talk about in Manifest is, feeling into those energetic frequencies of what does love feel like in your body? What does it feel like? What does abundance feel like, right? What does debt feel like? And begin to feel into those frequencies, because that the more aware we are of those frequencies, the more we feel ourselves, even with the slightest little, like, dip down, right? Um, so it's not about the stuff that we're creating, it's about the feelings that we have around it. Manifesting is about energy and emotions, energetics and emotions, right? Okay, so when we talk about the love part, what came through for me back in December and channeled message was that when we the actual message was, it's through love that we create peacefully. It's through love that we create peacefully. Life can be more filled with more ease and flow, and things can come to you with more ease when you bring love through your heart. So, when we are in the full presence, in an awakened heart flowing with love, like that's the natural flow of life. That's the life force energy flowing through you. That's your creative flow. That's what's natural in the world. Nature is abundant. The life force that flows through nature is abundant. It is love. It is grace. It is beauty. It is all those high frequency energies. And and nature just keeps creating and growing and thriving. And when it dies in its cycles, everything has cycles, then it just recreates again and comes back again. We can learn so much through nature. But those are the universal qualities, right? Kindness, inspiration, growth. Those are all the frequencies of the energetic frequencies of the natural life flow. So, why would we be any different if we are part of that life force also? Stepping into that stream of love brings force to your creations. So, there's, a lot of people are afraid to do this because they're afraid that, we might lose control of what we're creating. So they hold back. And you need to know that you hold a power that you can actually slow things down whenever you want. You don't have to fear things getting out of hand for you. And I just kind of throw that in there because I know that that is part of manifesting, that a lot of people are like, well, what if it gets out of control? What if I can't handle it? It's like, well, you get to slow the tap down. You get to turn it down a little bit whenever you want, right? You're not going to lose control because you're given free will. So that force of flow isn't going to just keep pouring through out of your control. You're going to be able to manage it. The power of free will, it overrides any of the creations coming through. We can actually stop it quite quickly and easily, and sometimes do unintentionally because of that fear coming up, right? But you get to decide if you want to change course, if you want to change the flow, that's all up to you. So don't be afraid to jump into this life flow, this life force energy, this creative flow. Um, Working on your fears as they come up, as you're consciously manifesting, is very powerful because, like I said yesterday, you get to just kind of pull them out one at a time. And that's something that in the 6 weeks of manifesting, that absolutely will be a powerful 6 weeks of pulling out fears and becoming aware of fears that are coming up each day as you're trying to create your dreams, right? Um, and you have to be able to jump in. So, standing on the sidelines, dipping your toe in the water, I'm just going to try this a little bit, see if it works, is like saying, I just want to try it a little bit, see if the universe gives me permission to do this. It's like, come on, that's not going to work. You got to jump in, right? You got to commit because it's your intentions, your desires and your intentions that are going to get things going. When you commit and you say, "Okay, okay, I'm all in. I'm going to do this. Let's do this. Let's join this manifest and let's do this for 6 weeks." And 6 weeks and we'll see how good I am at it. And as we go, then you'll get more and more courageous. You will. You'll change. You'll be like, oh, okay, you know, yeah, today was an off day, but hey, I'm back on track now. Committing. Committing is huge, right? That's the courage to live your life for you. So the big thing is like you open your heart, you awaken your heart, you allow the feelings to start to emerge out. You tap into what are my deepest desires? What if I could create anything that I would ever want, if I knew it couldn't go wrong, if I knew it was all going to turn out, what would I create? What would you create? What would your heart say you really want? Good journal question for tonight, right? Some people feel like, well, that's just being selfish. It's not selfish because you are actually living more in alignment with the universe by following your heart than not. See, the universe has a plan for each and every one of us. And like I said, those desires were planted in your heart. And each of us has our own unique set of desires. And it's when we become honest with those desires, we become honest with ourselves, tell the truth to ourselves that, yeah, I know what I want. I know what I really want. And then you commit to yourself and your life, and you commit to walking in that direction, then you are in alignment with the universe. Imagine if everyone was able to do this. Imagine how much happier people would be. And it's not about grabbing at things before the next guy because there's no scarcity. It's not about neglecting your children. You would never do that. And neglecting your family, you would never do that. That's not a heart's desires because your heart is full of love and compassion. And so you would do the right thing, but you would also commit to yourself and set healthy boundaries around you so that you had time for you and that you could create for you and you could start to work towards those dreams. There's no race. This is a walk. This is a walk of a lifetime where we create our dreams, we move in that direction, and as we move in that direction, we evolve and grow. We become more and more present in the moment. We start to appreciate every little moment in this life. And really, like the moments that pass by us without us even recognizing them, there's way too many. So this manifesting is about becoming more present. It's about really looking into the eyes of the person that's speaking to you and being right there and listening intently because you want to know what they have to say and what they're thinking, right? It's about being fully present when you walk through the bush and you smell the air and you hear the birds and you're not wrapped up in worries about yesterday or the future. It's about creating meaning to every interaction you have and just, soaking up every minute that you can with your family and your loved ones, fully present in every moment. That's where your power is to create. And when we do this, then we are living a life of joy and bliss. And that is powerful in manifesting because as we are living in joy and bliss, awakened in our heart, present in the moment, we are in our full power, aligned with this amazing cosmic force that is like the wind at our back. That is what manifesting is about. It's not about the stuff. It's about creating a life full of meaningful moments, filled with people you love, experiences that are beyond what you ever expected. That's what we're creating. That's what manifesting is all about. What's happening in the quantum field when you're doing this? I talked about this in my book, But what it is the energy. If you like our world and everything in it is made up of energy. Everything comes from the energetic realm, the quantum realm. Everything begins there. It begins as a thought, an idea that comes through, and then um, the person begins to create from that thought or the idea. It's like having your hands in the clay. It's like a lump of clay or a blank canvas, and you get an idea of what you want to create. And then it comes through onto the canvas. There's so many times I've walked around my art studio and looking at the art on the walls. It's like, I can't believe that I created all of this. These were blank white canvases. And slowly over time, I have created so many paintings, and they all came from just a thought, right? An inspired idea. The energy comes through you, through your heart, and the more we focus on it and pull it together, it starts to condense, right? The more we bring it through as a creator and start to focus on it coming into our lives, the energy condenses and lowers in frequency because this world, the physical things in this world, is a much lower frequency than where the energy is coming from. And they like gather together and it becomes denser and it becomes more real. We need to have time for that to come through, right? So these packets of energies flow together, creating more force, and eventually they manifest. Think of all the things. I remember being in an airplane and flying over Chicago. As we were returning home, we were flying over Chicago, and I was looking out the window, and it's like, holy man, like we created this. We created this. All of these buildings and everything was perfectly lined up, the streets and the direction, like, and it's just like, wow, the brilliant minds that it took to create all this architecture, all these businesses that interact with each other, that, you know, weave together and make up this world. Look at what we've created. Like, it's absolutely amazing. So we have the power to keep creating in our own lives. We don't have to sit back and be complacent or passive and let things happen and just react to whatever's happening. We get to get in the driver's seat. We get to be the artist. We get to actually start to vision what it is we want to create. And when we come together collectively and vision the world that we want to become in the future, that's powerful. That's powerful. So, that's my message for you tonight. And I hope it has inspired you to keep creating in your life, to keep visioning in your life, to take your power back, to know that you have access to beautiful co creative power, and that it is through our heart, it is through the love and the gratitude and the higher frequencies that are naturally out there in nature. That is where the power is. And so love every step along the way of your creations. Pour energy into it because you are the bridge between the quantum field and the physical field. You are the one that can create it. And I hope that you will consider joining me in Manifest. that begins this Thursday morning at 9 a.m. You will be, once you sign up, you will be invited into our private Facebook group. There are so many things that we are going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about, how do you navigate the fears when while you're trying to manifest? How do you manifest through your feminine and your masculine aspects when you're too much in one or the other? Um, like stepping over the walls that come up when we're trying to manifest. Let me see what else. Committing despite the fear, because we can go, yes, I'm going to commit. And then we are like, oh, okay, wait a minute, this is kind of scary. It's like, no, despite the fear, recommitting again, believing in yourself. That's a big one. We're going to talk about your beliefs. We're going to be talking about shifting your perception so that you see things through new, fresh eyes. Um, we're going to be talking about the quantum field, becoming an energetic match to your desires, to draw them in, becoming the magnet to all your desires, creating the conditions so that your dreams, your desires do come in, staying in desire. We're going to talk about the frequency of money, the frequency of bills and debt, receiving, opening to receive more, um, receiving as an energetic experience, being more present. Like it just goes on and on and on, potentialities in the quantum field. So once you start, it's like you're going to start to dream bigger because you're going to see that just like Esther Hicks says with Abraham Hicks, it's as easy to manifest a button as a house or a mansion, or a castle, I think is what she says. So we're going to be doing so much beautiful energetic work together. And the early bird pricing is only on for another hour and 10 minutes or so. So get yourself signed up tonight. Save yourself $111. That's really a good thing. And I am so looking forward to being there with you, and I hope that you join me. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will put the link in the comments. Actually, I will do that right now so that it is in there because I often forget to do that afterwards. I get caught up in things. Um, and I hope that you found that this 3-day masterclass helpful. Please share it with your friends. And I love you, and I will see you again soon. Mwah. Bye for now.